This video is made for an adult audience. Hey Brick fans, welcome back to the Brick Bakery, where all our jokes are half baked. I'm Jacob, and today it's time to do some work on the railroad in my Lego city. Today's video is going to be a bit scatterbrained. I'm doing a lot of stuff simultaneously because I have different ideas simultaneously and I want to do all of them simultaneously, so that gives a lot of, jumping back and forth. I hope that will be okay, but without further ado, let's get into that railroad building over at New Bakersville. I've been talking about balancing my train tracks for my Lego city for quite a while now, and today I thought I'll show you how I think that should be done. Now, there are many great guides out there for doing this, and of course this is probably going to look like some of them. I can't say that I'm not inspired, but I can't point to which one in particular I'm inspired by. So if you know of any kind of ballasting videos for train tracks in your Lego city, please let me know about them because I'd love to see them. I might get inspired as well. So for now, I'll say I'm inspired by every video out there. So if something seems the same or at least similar, that's probably why. But here we go, ballasting my train tracks. The first thing I'm doing is I'm adding a layer of plates, which is one stud wider than the actual train tracks. And that's to give that sort of pyramid shape that's usually seen on ballasting. Now, modern day ballasting, I believe, is often concrete with these here are often concrete. And some steel stuff to make everything steady, whereas in the olden days these would be wood. I'm not sure. I think it would be it would be aesthetically pleasing if they were wood. I'd say brown. Now, there are differing ideas for whether or not you should just follow these cross guards here and have wide 2x4 tiles, or if you should do 1x4 tiles and then have them more often. Now, I think personally it's most pleasing to the eye if they are there more often. So I think I'll go for that. There we go, that's some plates added. Now, of course, I need to add small plates here as well, so we can actually get these cross beams. And they're actually not called cross beams, I just looked it up. I believe they're called sleepers, which makes sense because it's what the iron part of the rail is sort of resting on. So that makes sense to me, at least. If they're not called sleepers, please let me know in the comments below. I'll be adding 1x2s here, so we can actually get on with making those sleepers. There we go, now got this wonderful pyramid shape underneath the tracks, and we're now ready to make the sleepers. Now, I am thinking I'll be using these coupled with 1x1 tiles to sort of cap off at the ends, because these sleepers usually go all the way out on both sides of the train tracks. So we'll see how this looks and if I've got enough of it, but we'll figure that out. That's the sleepers added on the inside of the train track, and I think this looks wonderful. I think it's a great choice to use these brown ones. Black ones would also look kind of cool, sort of modern, but I do like the brown here. That's a wonderful aesthetic. Now I need to add 1x1 tiles, and it'll be exciting to see if I have enough of those. If not, I think I'll just use regular 1x1 plates in brown as well, just to spice everything up a bit. that's the sleepers added, and I think it looks very nice. Now, I have been thinking I want to add some 1x1 round plates just to give that stony feel, because it's usually a pile of loose stones that's beneath the sleepers to get everything to be stable. So I'm gonna add some round 1x1s, not completely everywhere, but just randomly in between to make it look like it's rocks. These are just random enough that it seems like it is rocks that's lying here. Now I'm getting the sense that some of this is not on straight, but I think it really is. I just think it's because there's a lot of lines going on. Now I do have an idea of using these fence pieces right here as well. Maybe just add them like this, which I think would look good. Now I'm not completely sure if these are going to go out towards the edge of the table out here or in towards the city, but we'll have to see. I do like the look though, so it would be interesting to add these. Maybe some bushes as well would be interesting. So, fence added, a couple of plants as well, and some shrubbery over here. So that's looking pretty good. Of course, I do need one more of these. Of course, it's always like that with me. But other than that, I do like this look. Of course, if you have any kinds of suggestions or ideas, please let me know in the comments below. So I thought I would add my new ballasted train tracks right here, and then I'd start work on the mountain entrance thing that I've got planned to build here. Now I've got to see if I've got room for it on the plates I've already got, but we'll see. First of all, I need to add my newly ballasted tracks. Surely this looks much better than the non-ballasted tracks. Now, the mountain is going to go over here, and the idea is to have an entrance with a rounded one of these arched pieces here that's going to go here in some way, shape or form, and maybe have the mountain sort of have an angle in some way, but not completely sure how I'm going to do that. However, I am sure that it's going to be here though, and I am pretty sure I'll be using some of these burbs right here, so that's going to be interesting to work with. We'll have to see what I can come up with. I might have to postpone this a bit until I have some plate that I can add here, because this train is it extends all the way out here actually when it comes to turn, and I do need to be able to add some of this here, like this for instance, and that's probably going to be too close. Yeah, if it's at full speed, I'm fairly certain that's going to be too close. So it's going to be all the way out here, and then it's not attached in the bottom for the base plate. Interesting. Well, I can do a mock-up at least. This is a rough mock-up of what's gonna go on. Of course, I'm gonna add slopes on the outside of these, so it's gonna look much more like a mountain. This is very rough. And I'm also gonna add ballasting to some of the tracks in here, so it looks like it'll continue. And I think I'll do that actually at this point, because this mountain, as I said, I need a plate out here, and I don't have one of those right now. So adding ballast for this track here might be a logical next step at this point. Back at the build site again, and I'm of course going to add ballast in much the same way as I did the other one, and we'll have to see how that turns out. Ballast done. Now you might be wondering, why haven't I continued this? But that's just because this or actually from here on and this way, it's probably going to be inside the mountain, so it's not going to be very visible. So I don't see any reason to waste bricks. Now, of course, we can consider that a secret, that I'm not completing everything inside, but I'm sure other people are doing this too. If not, well, I don't know. I'm not going to do it. So, yeah, this is where we're at. I think I'll be working on the arch itself as well, just to see if I can get something to work, because that's pretty interesting actually, I think. Let's try it. I've been trying to measure the height, and I think this is about it. I am wondering if I should add, you know, some of these here. Now, you might be wondering, why am I adding these snot bricks? And that's because I am thinking I want to add 1x2 tiles. I'm not sure it's going to be the dark gray ones, but like this. So it's going to look a little more like bricks or something like that, with this interval right here. Of course, could be a little closer together maybe. Maybe I should add these on every, you know, on every level, so they'll be a bit closer. But anyway, that's the idea. And adding them up here in some way, shape or form would allow me to actually do something like, these are just for the example, of course, but do something like this, which might look good. Something like that might look interesting to sort of get the arch. Now, of course, I can push this one upwards to make the arch more complete, and this one can be pushed as well, so we get a more complete symmetrical arch, if you will. I think that might work well. Of course, they aren't going to be red and white, but that's just for the example. This is the basic idea, of course. It would be wonderful if I could actually have these at a more close interval all the way around. Would look much more sort of right, so to speak, but I'm not sure I can actually. Maybe if I do something with plates and such, I can add one of these here about, and that might make it possible to push one in here, but I'm not completely sure about that, but we'll have to see. I've managed to get some of these off-brand plates right here, and now I'm gonna cut these to fit that small gap I have on the side of my city, so I have something to build on out there at the edge. I found a good blade like this. Of course, be careful when you use this. When putting in the blade, the new knife thing, I actually managed to cut myself in my finger, so I'm bleeding a bit. But it's not too bad, it doesn't hurt at all. And something to cut on, of course, so you're not cutting into your table or whatever you're doing. A thing I noticed immediately when unwrapping these is that these off-brand plates here do have a vastly different reflective surface than the real Lego ones. This seems almost, you know, dull or sort of frosted, and this definitely has a plastic glare to it. Interesting. I've just did a bit of measuring, and I think what makes the most sense is to have 8 studs and then cut it, because it's not exactly 8 studs. I think it's more like 6.5, but 8 is good because 8, you know, divides very well with 32. So you'll have 4 equally sized strips here, which is quite good. On the other hand, 6 would also make sense. Yeah, maybe I should go for 6 instead, because then it'll, you know, reach farther. And I do not have much room to push the whole city. So I think I'll go for 6. Yeah, 6 wide. And I do have this trick, which I've just been told by one of my viewers, is that if you put plates on like this and then follow the line that they make, you know, in here, then you get a straight, very straight cut, which goes neatly in between the studs in the way that it's supposed to. So that's pretty cool. So that was a great suggestion. I believe that was Cass from Blockhead UK who gave me that idea. So we'll see how that turns out. There we go. That's 5 of these, and a bit, of course, because it is 32 divided by 6s, would yield you this. So that's pretty good. Now to see how this looks over at the city. Here we go. City. Just move this and this. Yeah. That's pretty good. Very, very nice. I like it. And it really, really helps me when I want to build the rest of the mountain, of course, like this. That's just fantastic. Yeah, I like it. Now, of course, this is not how it's gonna look at the end. This is just a brief mock-up of a mountain, and I do like it. I do think this is gonna add some very interesting detail to my city, and using these base plates seems the right choice. I really, really think it covers up this edge nicely. This just looks messy, whereas this looks very nice and tidy. And I do know it's not the same green as the base plates here, but I'm wondering if I should add a layer of plates, or maybe do something with some sort of mixing plates, smaller plates, having them in a random pattern up and down this to make it seem a little more like grass or natural, ground cover or something like that. But we'll see how that goes. Of course, suggestions are more than welcome. This with some few glamour shots, not much to see honestly, but just a few, just to keep you guys all caught up, and then I'll return with a wrap up. That's about all I have time for today. This was very interesting. I think the arch over the train is looking very neat, and the idea of the mountain being placed where I'm going to place it, I think works out well. I love these ballasts, and now I know that I need much more tiles than I actually have, but that's going to be all right, I think. I'll find some. I'll find them. If you have any kind of suggestions or ideas, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to hear it. But that is all for me today. I hope you'll comment, like, and subscribe, and hope to see you folks next time.